Hello. I think we're live. Let's see if anybody's with me. Say hi if you're in. I've got the little chat open on the side so I can say hello. I've come in a little bit early just to make sure that we're good and ready to go. Let's get this. Chat is waiting for new messages. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first to say hello on this gorgeous sunny day? Well, it is where I am anyway. It's a little bit too warm, to be honest. Shouldn't moan, should we? We always do that, don't we? Moan it's cold, moan it's warm. I'm enjoying it anyway. It's an excuse to get your bright colours on, isn't it? Makes you feel good. Let's see. I know I've got tech support in the background, so we'll see. Oh, hello from a Facebook user. Hello. Nice. I'm definitely live then, and I'm definitely here. That's good news. Thank you. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Karen. Hi, Caroline from Hastings. Hi all, says Facebook user. I haven't got a name for you, Facebook user, but hello. Welcome aboard. Just let this go. Right. Well, I'm Gemma. If you haven't met me before, Gemma Crow. Jewellery designer, author, teacher, all-round crafter, creative, maker, painter. I do a bit of everything actually. I specialise in metals and wires with my jewellery making, and so I'll be doing your wire work demonstration today, but incorporating some seed beads. So if you're a seed beader and don't really go into wire, this is a great one because it's just using wire as a framework and sort of a mechanism to show off your beads. So we're going to do some paisley earrings today. I've got one in. I figured I won't need one this year because you can't see it anyway. I've got one in, so it's going to be this design. So I'm looking forward to showing you how to do it. They're so fun, aren't they? Ooh, this way a bit. They're so much fun, and it's just in time for festivals. Here in the UK, it's Glastonbury starts next week, and so yeah, all the festivals are happening now. What great weather we've got for them for a change. Hi, Bethan. I'm having to look over the top of my. I'll go underneath. Hi, Gemma, looking fabulous this afternoon. Oh, thank you. I thought I'd make an effort. I thought I'd dress up. Make an effort. Got a summer dress on. It's lovely weather. I had these gorgeous earrings to wear. And pendant. I made a little pendant as well. I just thought there's so many ways you can use these paisley beads. It's pretty endless, but I had to decide on one project, but I couldn't resist just making a little pendant to go with. So thank you, Bethan. Thank you. Certainly feeling the sunshine makes you feel good, doesn't it? Just makes you feel good. I hope you've got sunshine wherever you are, because it really does make you feel so productive, and it really lifts me. I suppose if I had a physical job where I had to be out working in it, then maybe I wouldn't feel the same. But oh, hello Helen, I'm missing some comments now. Hello Helen, and hello Rachel, good afternoon, hope you're well. Another Facebook user saying hello. Well, it's lovely to see lots of you in. That's lovely. So we're starting at 1, but it's nice just to get in a bit early and have a little catch up. And if you've seen me here demonstrating before with spoilt rotten beads, you will notice that my background is a little bit different this time. I've moved house in the interim, so you didn't see me last month. It's a very busy month, moving house, getting organised, writing new material for courses, and so much going on last month that we just didn't get round to doing a demonstration for you. So hopefully back to normal and settled, and new studio means new lighting and a better camera setup. So all being well, we're going to have a really good demo today with no interruptions. You might hear the road. It's so quiet here. And people have said so far they mainly hear birds because the birds are really loud. You may hear the road because I've got to have the windows open. I'm in an attic room which gets really warm, so I've got windows both sides luckily, but I definitely need it, otherwise I'll be flagging from heat exhaustion after about 10 minutes. So, right, who else have I got in? Oh, hello Helene. Hi Jem, you in studio look wonderful, so glad you're happy. Oh, I really am. Thank you. And Tanya, hiya Tanya. Nice to see you, and thank you for the wave. Yeah, very happy, very content in my new surroundings. I'm in the countryside. It's lovely, and the view from my studio window is gorgeous. Yeah, it's just lovely. It's lovely. I've moved away a little bit away from my family, but that's okay. I'm only an hour away, so and there's always this, isn't there? This FaceTimey stuff. So it's good at the moment. It's been a big week. My son turned 18 on Tuesday, so that was pretty massive as well. I now have an adult son, and I'm no longer a legal guardian. I had to fill out a form the other day, and it said, do you have any dependents? And I was like, no, I don't. Wow, first time in 18 years I haven't had any dependents. So yeah, so he's turned 18, so it has been a really big old month. How are you guys doing? What are you working on? Have you got any projects going on? Are you trying any new mediums? What's your favourite colour at the moment? Tell me everything. Tell me everything. I'll try and chat and demo. I'll try not to chat too much. Demo more than chat, obviously, that's why you're here. So but you know, I spend all the day on my own now, not talking to anyone, so you're gonna get all of it, all the gossip, all the natter. Keep me company. Right, should we do this? Should we start? Should we have a look at actually the projects? I'm going to make myself small and put myself up in the corner, and here we go. Right, let me tell you all about the kit first off. Okay, so look at this clear camera, right? Isn't that good? The only problem is you see my nails. So I've been obviously I've been working and moving for a few weeks. I haven't had my nails done, so this is my own attempt, and I got a little chip already, so forgive me that. Right, who else have I got to say and hello here? Let me just exit this a minute. Oh no, hold on, I might have done something wrong. All streams and recordings will be shut down. Are you sure you want to exit? No, I don't want to exit. I just want to make that a bit smaller. How do I get rid of this? I can't, which means I can't see the bottom of the chat unless I make this a bit smaller or move. I can move it. There we go. I can move this out of the way. Right, okay, now I can see you saying hello. Hi, Tony, hello, nice to see you. Right, so this is the project we're going to do. We're obviously going to do, you can obviously make a pair, but nice pendant as well. So this is a project we're going to do. It involves twisting wire and adding beads and these beautiful little tassels. So the link for the kit will be, I'm pretty sure, will be posted into this chat stream, so hopefully you'll get to see that. But it comprises of these gorgeous paisley duos. So I've got this lovely lemony yellow. I've got this gorgeous sort of, if you want a tonal palette, I've got this gorgeous, you can't see the difference too much here, but it's quite different. It's this pale sort of orange. We've got this really lovely vivid pink, bright fuchsia pink, it's gorgeous. And then we have this lovely sort of coral red. So really, it's a pink red, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty much exactly the same colour as my dress. I absolutely love this colour. So yeah, so this is a gorgeous, colourful, bright bundle. We've then got these neon coloured seed beads. I suppose they're the equivalent of a size 8-0, and they're like they're clear with a frosted finish, and then they've got the inside, the lining then is with the neon colour, so it really radiates, really lovely. It's a bit more subtle than pure brilliant neons because of that frosting, and how it gives it that sort of cat's eye look with the lining. So that's absolutely gorgeous. They're gorgeous. You get loads of those. And by the way, what you can see on my work desk here is what's left after making the earrings and the pendant and this extra little piece I made as well. So this is what's left. You also get a reel, I think it's 10 meters of 0.6 gold plated copper wire. It's lovely and soft to work with, so this is great wire to get if you've not worked with wire before. So the link's in the thread now, so have a look. I think it's just £16.45, which is a bargain because you get so much. You can make so much jewellery with this. And then you get 10 of these absolutely gorgeous little tassels. Aren't they lovely? They're so cute, and they've got tiny little jump rings on, so you can open the jump rings and attach them in, or you can you know, attach them with your own jump rings for a bit more swing and dangle. So we've got all of that in this kit, and yeah, so the link is there, so you can get that. And like I said, you guys, most of you guys with Sport Rotten Beads, you know, you are seed beaders, so you know how versatile the duos, the paisley duos are, and how they tessellate so beautifully. But if you're wire workers, using these little seed beads, there's so many lovely shapes that you don't really get with gemstones, and you can make them tessellate and work for you within your wire work as well. So really great project for crossing over, whether you're a beader crossing into wire or a wire crossing over into beading. It's lovely. Hey there, glad to catch this. Hey Nancy, how are you? Glad you've caught me too. Okay, so let's do this then. We're going to, oh, let me tell you a little bit about tools that you might need as well. So, oh no, I've left my cutters downstairs. I'll have to use, I'm going to improvise. And I'm going to use big snips because I don't want to leave you to go downstairs. I took them down because I had to trim my necklace in the mirror. So never mind, we'll use these. So you need something to cut your wire with. Preferably you'll have some little wire cutters, not like me with these great big cutters. And you will also need some round nose pliers and some chain nose pliers. Are always helpful. They're helpful for holding and things like that. And that's about it in terms of tools. What could be useful for you, if you want to, and I'll show you how to use them, is some nylon jaw pliers. These are fantastic. They're great for hardening your wire and sort of getting things to line up nicely. So if you're having a bit of a trouble getting things neat and straight, then these are great. So you can use them for straightening your wire as well. If you're new to wire work, you can drag your wire through, and what they allow you to do is sort of hold onto your wires and things like that without damaging or taking off any of the plating. So really useful tools, useful pair of pliers. The other thing you'll need is something round, some sort of round object to sort of shape your earrings if you want to. If you want to get them exactly the same, and you want probably something to shape them around. But I would say this isn't essential, so don't worry if you haven't got this. You might want something maybe a bit smaller than this to do it with as well, depending on the size that you want. What else have we got? Okay, so twisting wire is, you can do it by hand. There are tools that you can get to help you. So this is a wire twisting tool. This is great. You pop your wires in through the little holes in the top and attach the other end to something solid like a doorknob or a bench vise or something like that, and then you twist like this and it gives you a lovely even twist through your wire. Or you can use a drill that you put the wires into the head of a drill, into the chuck, and then I've got one set up here. I've been polishing metal this morning, so but you'd put your wires into this section, into here, tighten up the chuck, have the other end attached to something again like a doorknob or a bench vise or something like that, and then turn it on slowly and twist your wires. So if you want to get a really professional even twist, then these are some of the tools that you can get that do the job for you. Today I'm just going to show you how to do it by hand, because if this is your first venture into wire, chances are you don't have these things, and so that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Right, so let's start by making our framework then. I'm just going to push everything up and out of the way. I know we want to see them all, but give myself a bit of working space. Okay, so first off, I'm going to cut off around, it's around 60 centimetres of wire. Now, I'm not going to need this much wire, but we need enough to hold on to for us to twist, and enough for us to cut off any bits that don't look quite so neat. So when we twist by hand, chances are you're going to get an untidy bit at either end, and so please don't worry about that. If we've got a nice long length like this, we can utilise the best bits and discard the worst bits. Okay, so a nice long length, I'm going to trim that off with my ever so massive metal shears. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my put my finger in one, double the wire over, so I've got even length, got the tails together at this end, and I've got the wire wrapped around my finger at this end. And I'm not going to do it too far down my finger, because if I do it here and it tightens around my finger, it's hard to get off. So I'm going to do it sort of towards the end of my finger, and I'm going to try not to twist it too hard around my finger, and try and get the tension come in out this way, so along the wire out here, by pulling, and hopefully that won't close too much around my finger. Right, so when twisting, there's a few problems you might run into. One is you get one wire twisting around the other, so it ends up looking like a helter-skelter instead of a rope. Okay, so oh, hello Christine. So what you want to do to make sure that you twist evenly is, I've taken this hand, I'm taking, so if I show you from this way up, I'm taking my finger, so I've got my first twist in, I've just twisted it round to get me started. I put my finger in between, like that, and I'm going to hold the wires with the rest of my hand. Okay, so if I flip that, it's hard to get my hands in the right position, so they're being held, my wires are being held in my hands, like this, and so I can pull, so I've got both wires pulling out, the tail's coming out from sort of by my little finger. I'm pulling, so as I twist, I'm going to pull. So I'm going to twist and keep going, so I can keep removing my finger and twisting like this, and as I pull and sort of twist, I'm getting an even twist. And that even twist is happening because I'm keeping the wires the same distance apart and also pulling as I go. Okay, so the other way you can do is just sort of keep going like this, so keep twisting your finger around, but you find you won't get it as even that way. So it is best to try and twist and remove your finger, because the other reason doing it that way is it tightens around your finger. So twist and pull, twist and pull, twist and pull. Okay, so what we need here is about 15 centimeters of twisted wire. So if you're finding that it's getting uneven now at one end or the other, just keep an eye on it. And sometimes you can come down, if you've got a bit of a problem here, sometimes you can come down and start twisting sort of a bit further along. But what you find when you do that is you get wiggly wire like this. So the best way, if you can, is to keep the tension, keep it being pulled and twisted and pulled and twisted. Okay, so once you've got your length of wire that you're happy with, then what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of have a look, bring it into a teardrop, just have a look if that's the right size. Maybe it's a bit long, and I think this possibly is a bit long. So what I'm going to do is just bring it up till I'm happy with sort of roughly that size. So we're going to shape this into a bit of a paisley shape, but we want to start by creating just this loop. Okay, so what's really nice here is that the first part of my twist is quite even, so I can leave that there, and I can cut this little bit here, which is going to give me a nice long piece of wire that hasn't been twisted. So I can pull that one up now, and I've got this longer piece of wire to work with. Okay, nice long straight piece of wire. So then I've got this wire that's twisted, and I don't really want to work with twisted wire because it gets a bit messy and bulky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to untwist that section. Okay, so I'm just going to hold on to where that twist is and untwist from here. Is everybody engrossed, or have you finished watching? Are you all engrossed? Very quiet now. Okay, so now I've untwisted, I can bring these back together and I can get rid of one of these wires. Again, this is going to help me get rid of all that bulkiness that we don't want. We want just 2 wires to twist together. So I'm going to come in and snip this away. Okay, and I'm bringing this back in. So now I've got my 2 straight pieces of wire that I can then bring together. And all I'm going to do is twist one around the other. So I'm not going to twist them both together. I'm just going to take this longer one here, doesn't matter which one really, and I'm going to wrap it around nice and evenly around that top straight piece there. Okay, and then I can get rid of that piece of wire, so trim it off as close as you can. Considering these are great big tin slips, they actually do a really good job of getting in close to the work. Right, so get my chain nose pliers now. So if you've got any bits of wire sticking out, then you can take your chain nose pliers and just give it a pinch in so that the wire sort of nestles into itself and you've got no scratchy bits sticking out. Okay, so then here all we want is a little loop so that we can attach our earring finding eventually. So I'm going to come up to this loop, I'm going to take this wire here, I'm going to bring it off to the side a little bit, and then I'm going to make a loop around my round nose pliers. So I'm pulling the wire around the round nose pliers, and then I'm going to wrap around on top of the wraps I've already done. Okay. Looks like we've got aeroplanes and cars to contend with today. I'm not far from the airport, Bristol Airport, and so I shall imagine that must be coming into land. If you can hear that. Okay, so I've wrapped it round, it's all nice and neat, and I can trim that off, and then I can use my pliers again just to tuck in that section there. Okay, right, so now we've got this loop, and what I suggest when you're making earrings, I suggest you make 2 of these before you do anything else, because if you go the whole way through it and make the shape, it's really hard to shape the other one exactly the same or get it the same size, because we put a different sort of, creating teardrops the same size, pretty simple, but creating these paisley like patterns the same size gets a bit trickier. Right, so if you've got a nice even teardrop like this, so this one's turned out quite nice. I've got this lovely curve here. I don't feel like I need to use a mandrel to make that, to sort of change the curve of that, but if you do, this is the time when you can take it around a round object and reshape it. So take it around something and help you get that shape on here. This is just a tub of masking fluid. You can use anything really, depending on the size of the earring you're making. Looks good, Gemma. We'll need to actually do this later, as in the middle of packing. Oh no, packing again. You always seem to be packing to go somewhere. I don't envy you. Okay, so here's my lovely teardrop shape. So now all I'm going to do is take my thumb and index finger, and I'm going to sort of put my thumb on the inside to support the frame. So I'm pushing sort of outward to keep that curve on the bottom, and inwards to help me create a bend. So I'm just gently doing this. I'm going to sort of stroke down this side, and I stroke on the inside to help mimic or sort of mirror almost the angle that we're getting on that curve. Okay, and now you can just manipulate the frame until you've got the paisley pattern, the paisley shape that you want to achieve. Okay, so just keep pressing to create that shape. Right, there you go. So if we look at that and we look at our paisley duo, we can see it's a roughly the same shape. So we're echoing. That's the the design, the sort of theory behind the design was to sort of echo the shapes that we've got in the beads. and it makes the design nice and sort of cohesive. Right, so now we've got our framework, we're going to start embellishing this framework with our combinations of beads and attaching them to the frame. So before we do this, if you want to harden this frame off a little bit to make it a bit more stable while you work, this is where you can use your nylon jewel pliers and you can bite down onto the frame. So you just literally holding the pliers on and just biting down onto the frame a little bit. Okay, so just pinching all the way round, all the way, pinch, 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 all the way around. And what that does, it just helps keep everything a little bit firmer. It hardens the wire off a little bit, and makes that frame a little bit firmer for you to work in. Okay, so that's a nice tip. It's not completely essential, but it's nice to know that you can do that if you need to firm your frame up. So 0.6 wire isn't generally used for framework, but because we've twisted it together, it's got a lot more strength. And then pinching them together like that with the pliers will give them a bit more strength again. The beauty of 0.6 is it does so many jobs, which is why we're able to make the frame and embellish with beads all with one gauge of wire. Okay, so I'm going to start with adding my row of these paisley duos across here. Now what I did was I picked the colour to go in between that isn't represented in the paisley duos. So there's this gorgeous lime green or neon green in here. So that's the beads I picked to sort of space out these lovely paisley beads. So I'm just going to cut quite a short length. It's only got to span an area of my paisley shape, and then it's got to wrap around. Now it can be a bit fiddly wrapping around with really short lengths of wire, so we're always going to use a little bit more, which means a little bit of waste. But as you start working with wire, you'll start finding ways to use your waste to make things like jump rings or little accents for other designs. Okay, so I'm going to find the space that it's going to go in on here, and I'm just going to wrap. I'm going to do the one side first. I'm going to put lay the wire across the frame. Now when you do this, make sure that every time you wrap your wire in, you go from the same side. So all my wraps are going to go on the top of this one here, so this will be the front, and it'll be the neater area. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to the side of the frame, and I'm just going to wrap this wire around. So first thing to do is sort of fold it around the frame like that, and then bring that wire around, and you can do 1 or 2 wraps, it's up to you, whatever you feel secure with. I think 2 I did on all the way through mine. And what you'll find is because the wire's twisted, you get these nice little sort of crevices, which helps keep everything in place once they're bound in and stops them sliding. If this was just a straight wire, you'd have all sorts of problems with the wire sliding around. So now I'm going to take this round one more time, so that I've got, looks like from the front, it looks like 3 wraps around that frame. Okay, so I've got that all the way around. I'm going to take that wire to the back and then nip it off. Okay, and then again with my chain nose pliers, I'm just going to pinch that little wire in to make sure it's not going to scratch anything. And also by doing that, you've sort of stopped this from moving around as well. So giving it that little pinch sort of helps everything stay in place. And now I'm going to load up this section. Now this paisley one I've done is slightly bigger than this one, so I'm probably going to need some extra beads to fill the space, but you can just do this by eye. When you do 2 the same, it doesn't matter if they're a bit different to this one, just so long as each one is the same. Okay, so I'm going to just go with the same combination of colours I've done here. I might add another green. I think I need a bit more space here. So I'm going to start with a yellow duo. Pop that in like that. And what I've done is I've put the duo with the tip facing sort of in the same direction as the frame, the first one. The second one I'm going to do in the opposite direction, so that the tips sort of face each other. So put the next bead on. The bead gives it a bit of space, so that they're not you know, jumping against each other. They're not trying to meet, and you don't see any bare wires. So there's 2. Then I'm going to pop on a yellow, another spacer with my little neon green, put that in, and then I'm going to pop on one of the orange ones, and I'm going to do the same again. So now I'm going to face it the opposite direction to the last one, so basically alternating the directions like that, and then a little green one, and then what colour have I used? The red, and I'm going to put the red in like so, and then I should have space for 2 green seed beads. Let's try. So 1 and 2. Okay, and you see with the wire you can pick up the seed beads just like you do with a needle, so you can just angle it and pick them up quite easily. Right, so now what I'm going to do is, it's not going quite straight across, it's too big. So all I'm going to do is just give it a little curve. So I'm just pulling the wire up, I'm holding it with my thumb and forefinger, and just giving that wire a bit of a curve so that it's sort of, it's like a bit of a like a swag rather than a straight line across. Okay, then position that wire across the frame, like again like we did on the first side, and then we're going to take that wire around the frame. So first bend it all the way around to secure where you want it, and then we can start bringing the wire around. And you can see how lovely and soft this wire is. It's a dream to work with, actually, this one. Okay, so pulling it nice and tight around the frame. And what you'll have seen me doing there is rocking the wire side to side. Oh, Christine, you've got a problem with the video freezing. I'm really sorry. I haven't got any problems this end. I hope nobody else is having the same problem. This end it seems pretty good. My Wi-Fi signal is strong still, so hopefully maybe come out and come back in. Okay, so I'm rocking the wire backwards and forwards like that, but I'm holding on to the seed beads. So I don't want to drag this in and tighten it up so that it pulls the frame in together. So I'm holding on firmly, I'm waggling that backwards and forwards, and that's cinching it nice and tight to the wire, so there's going to be no movement. Okay, so wire round again, back up through the paisley shape, and then back to the back. And remember, we're always going to cut our wire on the back of the design, so I'm going to cut that off there and pinch this in. Okay, so there's our first little row of embellishments. Now you can leave it there if you want to, but I thought it'd be fun just to add a few more rows of different colours, so we'll do that now. Again, I'm going to cut off a length larger than the one what I need, just so that I've got enough to wrap around. I'm going to lay this into my frame and decide where I want that to sit. If you're finding, a little tip, if you're finding it difficult to get the first bend in around the frame with your wire, if you take your round nose pliers, take it to the point on the pliers that's about the same diameter as your frame, so it's quite high up, quite close to the tip of the pliers, and then bend that back on itself. So you've almost got like a hook then, like this, and then you can hook that into the frame, put it where you want it, and your first bend is done for you then. You're just a case of just putting it where you want it and pulling it around, but that first sort of bend is sort of set for you. So that might help get you started. Okay, so again, I'm going to match how many wraps I do, so I'm going to do the same every time, so it gives it that sort of consistency all the way through. So that's 3 times around, trim it off. I'll tidy up at the end, I don't want to keep going back in and pinching that down. So this row I did multiple colours, so I used all the colours and just did one order. So I'm going to go pink, yellow, orange, green, pink, yellow, orange and green, pink, yellow, orange, green, and just keep adding until you've filled the space. So pink, orange, yellow, green. Let's see. So that's filled the space for me, so that's perfect. I can now attach the wire the other side. So in exactly the same way, just going to wrap that wire around the framework, holding it in place on the frame where I want it to be, making sure I got the position right, and then continue those wraps until you've got your 3. Trim off the excess. Okay, so I've repeated that a few times. So now I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to choose one of my other colours. So the next row on my original pair is the lovely pink. So is anybody going to have a go at these? Anybody can think of somewhere they'd like to wear these? Lots of festivals and parties and barbecues with this lovely weather. I'm sure there'll be lots of opportunities to get your festive fandango on. I know our summer seems to be completely booked out with parties, events, occasions. You know, there's so many things. I keep thinking this weekend got a weekend where there's actually nothing going on that we have to do. It's just like so exciting. Got nothing to do. Brilliant. Well, the whole house to sort out, but no parties, no peopling this weekend. Just home. Now, apparently the rain is coming in the weekend, so we'll probably do some painting in the house, which would be nice. Okay, so I'm going to go all pink this row. So I don't know how many there will be, but the nice thing about seed beads is they're such a consistent size that if you are doing, you know, pairs like earrings, when you do your first one, if you count them on the second one, it will give you the same distance on your frame, you know, so it helps with measurements and keeping things the same. So these are a bit more spaced out than my last ones, so I'm going to try and wiggle that up a bit. So if you want to wiggle, give it a wiggle up into a new position and then pop it back down. That's moved that up along a little bit for me, so that's a better position, I think. Right, so again, once you're happy, wrap it around the frame. I suppose that's the benefit of not pinching everything into place until you're finished. So those ends I haven't pinched in yet. I'm going to do them all at the end. That helped because I was able to move that then without too much problem. Okay, again, snip off the excess, and then last row, and then we'll do the little embellishment for the bottom. That'd be cute. Right, so I'm going to do a row of yellow now. So again, popping that in. The other thing you'll notice is I'm always wrapping in the same direction, so I'm always wrapping up towards the top. So instead of wrapping down the frame, I'm always going upwards. So going above where my wire placement is. So my wire is placed on the frame here, and I'm wrapping above it. And again, these things that, you know, they're not vitally important. It won't, you know, they'll still look lovely if you don't do that. It's just little consistencies like that throughout your design will really help with them look professional. Silly things really, but it does help. Pinch that in with my chain nose pliers. That one, definitely don't want that one to slip down any further. And then I'm going to go for this row of yellow. So let's pick up a load of yellows and see how many we need for this section. Ooh. So we're in here. Oh, we can fit another one in there, I think. Another, maybe 2. There we go. Yeah, so that fits perfectly. So this is it now. This is my last row of beads in here. I mean, you could completely fill the space. And you know what? There's nothing to stop you combining using threading techniques with the wire technique. So making your frames perhaps out of wire and then using a needle and thread to do your stitching of your beads in. You know, you could do that. That would also work. So let's trim this. Right, so there is our basic frame. So now we're going to attach some tassels to the frame. Absolutely roasting. I've gone very shiny now. Whew, have a sip of water. There's no breeze at all, none at all. So despite having all the windows open, it's roasting. Right, so let's start by putting the little embellishment on the bottom. So what I've got here is just a little cluster of beads, and when you look at paisley designs, sometimes you get little frills around the edge, and sometimes you just get this little sort of almost like a little finial detail on the bottom, and that's what I wanted to recreate with this little section here. So I'm just going to chop a short section of wire. You might even have an offcut that would do this particular section, and I'm going to bend it in the middle with a bit of a V shape like that. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up one of my lovely little tassels. They're so cute. I've never seen such cute tassels, they're gorgeous. And then again, I'm going to use those greens as the accent colours here. So I've got green, and then any two colours you like for the bottom. I'm going to go with the same combination, red and orange. So green on here, and then I'm picking up a red one. I'm picking it up from the convex side, not the concave side, so the rounded side. Pick that up and then pop on another green bead. Okay, and then on this side I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pick up a green bead, then pick up the orange from the convex side, and then another green. Okay, so now I've got this little motif here, and then we're going to attach that to the bottom of our frame. So I'm just going to pull these up. So hold with your thumb and forefinger so that they stay down in the point, and then just pull these wires up together and give them a bit of a pull to help settle everything into the right place. Okay, then we need a bit of space for the wires to sit on the frame. Okay, so before we make our bends around the frame, we're just going to create that bit of space. And we're going to do that by holding everything in place like this, and then where's my round nose pliers gone? Then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and pop them just above that seed bead, so they're sitting just above the seed bead, and I'm just going to pull that wire down like so, and the same on this side. So put my pliers just above that seed bead and pull the wire down like that. That's just setting everything in place, so we know everything when we put it onto our frame it's going to stay even, because they're moving around quite a lot on the wire, so this just helps set everything in the right place. Okay, and then we pop it over and hook it onto the frame like that. So that's hooked. That's now hooked on. Ooh, that's now hooked onto the frame. So just find where you want it to sit on that frame, and we're going to finish that curve by pushing. So I'm just pushing with my thumb and forefinger so that it sort of hooks on fully. Okay, and now I'm going to do exactly the same as I did, attaching all the beads. Sorry about that noisy car. And wrap around the framework. Sounds like the children have finished for the day as well. It's early to finish, isn't it? Wrap around, so post the wire through, and the beads are getting in the way now, so you have to do a bit of manipulating to get those wires through. So we're just wrapping them around the frame. Oh, that's never mind, Leslie. I'm glad you've caught me at some point. That's great. Yeah, and you will be able to watch this, a recording of this on either YouTube channel, so Spoilt Rotten Beads YouTube channel, or my YouTube channel, which is Gemma Crow Jewellery, or you'll be able to watch it on Spoilt Rotten Beads Facebook page, or Gemma Crow Jewellery Facebook page. So yeah, loads of ways you can watch it, and on the website as well, Spoilt Rotten Beads website, you'll be able to find a link to the kit and also a link to the demonstration, so that if when you get the kit home you want to watch it again, you can. So yeah, there's loads of places you can find it. But thank you for popping in, Leslie, and thank you for saying hello. Lisa, your screen is frozen too. I'm so sorry. Tony says, yeah, I am too, but I can hear you. Done the coming out and in on numerous occasions and still the same. Oh. Janet says, lovely, thank you. Replying to Tony, same Tony. Here, but the screen's frozen. I'm not quite sure what's happening for everybody. Maybe the sun's causing it, who knows? Maybe the internet's got sunstroke. You never know. Right, I'm going to give this a snip. So once you've got that wrapped in, you can give it a snip, and if you don't want that to move around, then I would say take your snipe nose pliers now and again pinch everything into place, also making sure that you're pinching all of those ends. So any of the ends that you left till the last, go around now and pinch them all in. Okay, right. So there is our basic earring or pendant design. This one's a bit bigger, so I could use this one as a pendant, couldn't I? I could have earrings and a matching pendant, which would be nice. And you'll see on this one I've added a little tassel up here as well. So what you want to make sure is when you add your tassel that your earrings are hanging, so that when you hang your tassel they don't sort of hang outside of the frame. So at this point, this is going to be a bit tricky to show you, so what I might do is show you on the other camera. I'm just going to put my ear wire in and close it up, and then I'm going to hold it up to the other screen and bring the other camera in so you can see it a bit clearer. Bear with me. Okay, so I'm hanging this now like this by the ear wire, so I can see the angle that it dangles, the angle of the dangle. I'm just making sure that that's the right angle. Okay, so we can see now if I hung a tassel just there, right, try and get one on a bit of, here we go, a bit of wire to show you what I mean. So I want to make sure that when I hang this, it hangs, it's difficult to hold it all, it hangs where it should. Okay, so depending on the angle, it's going to depend where you put your tassel. If I put it here, one, it's going to get, you know, it's encroached by the actual taper of the paisley, and if I put it, if this was hanging more like that, it would hang outside of the frame. So best thing to do is hang them up first before you decide where to put your tassel. Okay, that's the tip. So go in with that and where my tassel looks best. Let me just open this video and put this video back. Bear with me. Up here. Clever this, isn't it? There I am, little in the corner again, that's where I should be. So I've got this piece of wire that's a bit short to work with, so I'm going to take myself a longer piece, make life easier. Okay, and then I'm going to pop on my tassel and position it where I decided when I hung it up that it would best sit, and then I'm going to pop a little seed bead either side. I'm going to keep with the green, using the green seed beads. Oh no, let's go for pink because it contrasts nicely with this green tassel, so I'm going to go for hot pink. Okay, so position that in the space that you decided it should go, like so, and then we're going to do the same as we did with all the other rows of beads. I'm just going to take the end here and wrap it around. Now again, it's going to be a bit fiddly because it's a small area we're wrapping into, so if you want to at this point you could decide I'm going to go underneath and wrap going back the other way. Because this is a section one on its own, it won't matter too much. If you were doing lots of sections like this, I'd say keep wrapping in the same direction as you have all along, but because it's just a small bit, it's separate to the others. So we've got that one secured now, so I'm going to trim that off at the back. Careful not to cut your tassel. And then, oh, I've lost a bead. Pick my bead back up, bring it back in, and then bring that to the opposite side and wrap that side as well. So I'm going to wrap around here and up and around. Twice, yeah, I just did it twice the other side, so I'm going to do it twice that side as well. Snip off the excess and pinch the ends in. Okay. Pinch them in and then let that tassel drop down into position. And there. That's it, there's your little earring design, or pendant design, all ready to go. Ready for the festival. So there's that. I hope you like that, I hope you have a go. I'd love to see what you make and how it goes for you and how it turns out. Yeah, so there's your design. Do you want me to quickly show you this as well? If you want to make little pendants or even, you know, more simple earrings, I'll show you how to use this. It's so quick, I might as well do it before we go, before I say goodbye to you all. So let's get a nice long piece of wire. I'm going to go for 15 centimeters. Okay, and I'm going to thread on combinations of beads. So let's go for 2 of each colour, and I'm going to separate them with you know, the best contrast. So oh, that's the wrong one. So there we go. Pairs. Okay, we're going to arrange the pairs so that they are back to back, almost like so, flatter side to flatter side. Okay, so like this. It's such a cute look. I love a paisley shape. Paisley is one of my favourite patterns. Okay, so they're back to back, like that. Okay, and then again I'm going to use the green as the sort of other colour that I'm going to incorporate in here, because that's the only one not represented. So I'm going to start with a green seed bead. Let's bring a few down to this part of my board. Okay, starting with the green. Then I'm just going to go around this combination, picking them up. So pick them up in the order they are. So this side, concave side to the convex side, like that. That's one pair. Then a seed bead spacer. Then my next pair along. So I've got the concave side and then the convex side. Then my green. Then the concave side to the convex side,